Hi readers, welcome back to my channel, Lila Wanders and Reads. Lee here, and today is Tuesday, so it's time for a theme. And this week's theme is football. Specifically, football romances. And here's why. So a couple weeks ago was the NFL draft, and I paid attention to that. My colleagues paid attention to it. But after the draft, I live in North Carolina. So I kept it on college sports for a bit, and after the draft, there was this interview with Bill Belichick. And the talk of college sports the past several weeks has been Bill Belichick and Bill Belichick's 24-year-old girlfriend. So it got me thinking about football, and while I haven't read any of these that I'm going to tell you about, I am currently reading Friday Night Lights by Buzz Bissinger, and I'm watching Saturdays in the South, A History of the SEC. So it just feels really relevant. And I do plan to read one of these probably after Friday Night Lights, because this is a real heavy book, and these aren't so heavy. These are, again, if I didn't say it already, football romances. So let's start with one of my favorite authors, Sarah Adams. I discovered her last year when I read her When in Rome series, and one of those is actually at one of my favorite books of the year. She's got a fourth book coming out. I think it's next year. I can't wait. But I haven't read these. So the first one is The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. That's a no-shitter, right? The friend zone is not the end zone for Bree Camden, who is helplessly in love with her longtime best friend and extremely hot NFL legend, Nathan Donaldson. This is not a high school book. This is like a NFL book. The only problem is that she can't admit her true feelings because he clearly sees her as a best friend with no romantic potential, and the last thing Bree wants is to ruin those relationships. But those abs. Nope. Nothing but good old-fashioned, no touching the sexiest man alive platonic friendship for Bree. In any case, she has other things to worry about. After a car accident ended her chance at becoming a professional ballerina, Bree changed paths and now owns her own dance studio, with big dreams to expand it. But one more rent increase could mean the end of the studio entirely. Then, as usual, Nathan comes to the rescue, buying the entire building. A stubborn Bree is not happy about it and decides to rebel with a couple, maybe more than a couple, of tequila shots. Then her plan backfires as she spills her deepest, darkest secret to a TMZ reporter. One viral video later, the world thinks that Nathan and Bree are the perfect couple. Before they can really talk about her confession, Nathan's publicist proposes a big opportunity that could mean financial security for Bree. The catch? They have to pretend to be in love. Ooh, fake dating. I love it. For 3 whole weeks. What will happen when Bree gives in to the feeling she's been desperately hiding for so long? And could she be imagining that Nathan is actually enjoying it? Sarah Adams scores more than touchdowns in this exciting friends to lovers romantic comedy. I love the friends to lovers trope. Let's see what the next book also by Sarah Adams is, and that is The Rule Book. Okay. College exes break all the rules when they reunite 10 years later, and this enemies to lovers, I love that too. Second chance romance. This is a companion novel to The Cheat Sheet, so I will probably read these back to back. Nora McKenzie's entire career lies in the hands of famous NFL tight end Derek Pender, who happens to be her extremely hot college ex-boyfriend. Nora didn't end things as gracefully as she could have back then, and now it's come back to haunt her. Derek is her first client as an official full-time sports agent, and he's holding a grudge. Derek has his sights set on a little friendly revenge. If Nora McKenzie, the first girl to ever break his heart, wants to be his agent, he'll let her be his agent. The plan is simple. Make Nora's life absolutely miserable. But if Derek knows anything about the woman he once loved, she won't quit easily. Instead of giving in, Nora starts a scheme of her own. But then a wild night in Vegas leads to Nora and Derek in bed the next morning, married. With their rule book out the window, could this new relationship save their careers and spark the romance of a lifetime? We'll find out. This is going to be a fun little reading project. Although I'm not going to read them back to back to back. I've got to mix it up. I'll read those two back to back. The next one is by an author the next three are by authors I don't think I've read before. The last one's name sounds familiar. When I get to it, we'll see. But next up is Kristen Callahan's The Hookup. This is a college one. Anna Jones just wants to finish college and figure out her life. Falling for star quarterback Drew Baylor is most definitely not on her to-do list. Confident and charming, he lives in the limelight and is way too gorgeous for his own good. If only she could ignore his heated stares and stop thinking about doing hot and dirty things with him. Easy, right? Football has been good to Drew. 2 national championships and the Heisman. Wow. But what he really craves is sexy yet prickly Anna Jones. Her cutting humor and blatant disregard for his fame turn him on like nothing else. This might be a little spicy for me. But there's one problem. She's shut him down completely. That is, until a chance encounter leads to the hottest sex of their lives. It's going to be a little spicy for me. Anna wants it to remain a hookup, but Drew sees the possibility of something great. Now it's up to him to persuade her. It's a good thing Drew knows all about winning. As the saying goes, all's fair in love and football. Game on. All right. It's a special edition of First Date by Grace Riley. I've not read anything by her either. She does a lot of sports. Looks like she does a lot of sports romances. And I have not read a lot of sports romances. Anywho. James. Football is my everything. I live, eat, breathe the sport. But when I transferred to McKee University to escape the distractions that nearly cost me my future in the NFL, I'm faced with another consequence. Retake and pass the writing class I failed at my last college or lose any chance here I have at making it big. That's where fellow senior Beckett Wood, gorgeous, stubborn, and just my type, comes in. She's the key to my success in this class, but the price of her help is a fake relationship, and I never do things halfway. Bex. I don't mess around with athletes. I've already learned that lesson, and at first glance, handsome, self-assured James Callahan is no exception. He wants me to help him to pass the writing class we're both stuck taking, but I'm too busy to take on yet another responsibility. But when his teammate, my cheating ex, won't leave me alone, I realize I need to convince him I've moved on. And what better way than by pretending to be with James, who wants nothing to do with a real relationship. Yet with every fake kiss, James pulls me deeper into a place that thrills and terrifies me. Why does he make me feel alive like no one else has? And why don't I want it to end? This might be a little too light for me. The Sarah Adams, I think, is not going to be too light. It looks like it's got a mix of lightness and rom-comminess and heavy real-life stuff. So, Marian Zapata. I've got to check if I've read her, because her name sounds familiar. I don't think I've read anything by her. We'll see what I think about The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Vanessa Mazur refuses to feel bad for quitting. She knows she's doing the right thing. The thankless job of personal assistant to the top defensive end in the National Football Organization was always supposed to be temporary. She has plans for her life, and none of them include washing extra-large underwear for one more day for a man who could never find it in him to tell her good morning, congratulate her on a job well done, or wish her a happy birthday, even when she was spending it working for him. The legendary Wall of Winnipeg, say that 3 times fast, may be adored by thousands, but after 2 years, Van has had enough. So when Aiden Graves shows up at her door begging her to come back, she's beyond shocked. Mr. Waldolph Emotions is actually letting his guard down for once, and she's even more dumbstruck when he explains that her job description is about to become even more outrageous, something that takes that personal and personal assistant to a whole new level. What do you say to the man who's used to getting everything he wants? We'll see. Anywho, I thought that would be a fun little theme. Like I said, I'm reading Friday Night Lights, and I also did a search for other books that I have that are on football. Not very many, turns out, but I don't know if I have enough to do another football theme week or themed reading month. Anywho, like I said, I thought that would be fun. If you've read any of these books, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments below. And, as always, if you stuck with me this far, thank you for sticking with me on my journey, and happy reading.